For the whole meeting or just that part?
Recording in progress.
All right. Hello and welcome to the October 9th meeting of the Historic District Commission. I will introduce everybody here. This is our second meeting of the month. Mr. Larry Booz, who is generally our alternate, is actually representing an application tonight, so the rules state that he can't be a commissioner for the meeting. So he will be on hand as a representative of public in his home. On the far right is Dr. Dan Brown.
Good evening.
Martin Ryan.
Good evening.
Vice Chair Margot Doring.
Hello.
I'm Reagan Rudig, the chair. This is Isaac Gilbo, from the Planning Department.
Good evening.
We have John Wyckoff.
Good evening.
Our City Council Representative, Rich Blaylock,
Good evening.
and David Adams.
Good evening.
All right. The board's action in these matters has been deemed to be quasi-judicial in nature. If any person believes any member of the board has a conflict of interest, that issue should be raised at this point or it will be deemed waived. All right. Before we get into everything, I'm going to remember to do this early this time. We have one request to postpone, which is public hearing, new business number 2, the petition of Jeffrey Daniel Berlin, owner for property located at 38 State Street. We did get a letter from a butter today, but I just wanted to make sure if anybody is here for that one, that will be postponed to the first meeting in November. Great. I guess I need a motion to postpone.
Motion to postpone.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Now we have the approval of minutes. We have 2 sets of minutes from September 4th and September 11th. Does anyone need to recuse themselves? You do?
I do.
Okay.
September 11th.
Okay, so let's cover September 11th first. Good. Okay. Any?
I move we accept as written.
Thank you. A second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. All right. The September 4th minutes.
And I have one request to review the tape and clarify. So this is item B, speaking to the petition. It says Mr. Richardson said he preferred white as the slate color. I don't think there was even a white option, so it
No.
was maybe a misspoke, and we just need to correct
You're right.
that.
I think he did say he would prefer to put on a white roof to reflect any heat, but that's obviously not an option. So yes, I
If
think
we
it was
just
straightforward.
get that clarified, that would be great.
Thank you. Good catch. All right. Any other changes to the minutes? Other-
So moved.
Second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. All right. Administrative approvals. We have 5. Let Isaac lead us through them.
Madam Chairman, I have an entanglement on the 72 Islington.
Okay. So do you want to, we'll just cover that one first?
Okay.
That's okay?
I don't think the applicant's here, but
I don't believe you're correct, David. I don't believe the applicant is here. However, administrative approval item number 372 Islington Street. Technically, this is going to be an actual replacement in kind, in full. The reason why the applicant wanted to bring this before you all was really just to make sure that it was on file. We had approved this project, I believe, 2 years ago, 2 falls ago, with some non-existing materials as part of the approval. Again, this applicant is going very above and beyond to recreate and match everything that's there. The one difference is that they would be changing the current entry roof material to copper. So that's sort of why we had that just come back. Okay, so I'll just quickly run through. There was a wonderful and detailed explanation from the applicant. If the commission would like, I do see that he's arrived now. If you have any questions or would like him to clarify anything, we can do that. However, I'll show you the sort of existing conditions, which are not very great. As you can see, lots of water damage has happened over the years, and the roof is sort of missing large pieces. So this is definitely a project that needs to get done. Again, using in-kind materials just with the new copper roofing. Does the commission have further questions for myself or for the applicant?
I think it's a very thorough review and being done right, and I applaud them.
Sounds like a fine project. All right, then can we get a motion to
We'll
approve?
move to approve as presented.
Second?
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Thank you. You're all good.
All right, from
Start at the
there,
beginning.
we will move back to item number 1, which is 98 Court Street, unit number 2. The applicant here is seeking approval for the installation of an aluminum K-style gutter and downspout system. This would attach to and sort of match the existing system that's on various parts of the building. The highlighted sections that are shown are where the new system would be going. So it's sort of the rear and the side of the structure.
Do you know what the color coding means?
I'm not sure
Green and
one
red.
versus the other. I don't know if that was just to determine that there were two different slight elevations there.
Maybe it's that the red line is showing where it's
Where the existing, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, great, thank
So
you.
yes, the red
Okay.
line is the existing.
And the green would be the extension of.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. So,
Any questions?
Where are the downspouts running? There's no,
If you could come up to the microphone just to answer. Sorry, you have to, I'm sorry, you have to go to the microphone. It's for,
Green gutter right there.
yes,
The red gutter is like a foot below, so it's be the tiniest little, you won't even see it, and the green gutter goes over the red gutter. So you wouldn't even see, the downspout would be like yay big maybe, if that. Even if they have a downspout, they might even not have a down, it might just run right into it.
so you're saying that the greens that downspout, the green gutter is going to feed the red gutter, which leads
Correct,
to
the
an
green gutter will feed
existing.
the red gutter, and the red gutter is like maybe like 6 or 8 inches below the green gutter.
And it feeds to an existing
Do you have-
downspout.
Yeah,
And
a
yeah,
rear.
it's existing downspout's already there, yep.
okay.
Thank you.
Great.
a lot of water going to one downspout, but that's great. Okay.
Okay. All right. Any other questions or? Nope. Okay. That will bring us to item number 2, which is 175 State Street. The applicant here had actually, so they purchased their half of the kind of total building. And they had actually discovered one existing, in somewhat decent shape shutter. There were a few that were in multiple pieces. What they would like to do is to actually take that existing shutter and have that remade. So they've contracted a company to send in a drawing of that. And of course, this is just a photo of their particular unit at 175 State. Oh, sorry.
No, go, keep
Okay.
going. I'm sorry.
And so basically, they would like to recreate the existing style shutter and then install that on all of their windows on their unit.
Okay.
I don't see any information about any shutter hanging
Yeah.
hardware.
Looks like they'll have to put it in their brick too, so we should probably get a little more information on that.
Yes. Yep. I can absolutely request that we just get a little bit more of a detail for how that will be affixed to the building, including also what we will see as the fasteners. And I can have them come back for administrative approval in November for that. As far as actually moving forward, you know, with the appropriateness of adding shutters back onto the building, Are there any questions or concerns about that particular piece?
Sure, mine are, like Mr. Wyckoff's, my concerns were over the hardware.
Yep.
There are fragments of existing hardware, some dogs that are actually still intact on the other unit next door. I think on the gable end of their unit also, there are a couple of dogs still in place, but nowhere are there any hinges or any signs of having been hinges. So I'm sort of really mystified by it. Also, the places where the dogs are missing, the actual stems of them are still embedded in the masonry, which, I mean, it's sort of like breaking a screw off in a hinge. You wonder what you're going to do next. I'm sort of interested. I'd hate to see a mess made just to try to replicate a feature.
Okay.
My only concern is there's no mention of wood. I'm sure they're not using plastic, but I just want that clarification made.
Sure.
Going forward. If it's wood, that would be a stipulation, that it be wood.
Okay. Or perhaps maybe what we can do is we can have the applicant clarify those couple of concerns, and maybe we could just postpone to the November meeting, and I'm happy to reach out to request that additional information.
Thank you.
It seems they wouldn't be able to install them without
Right.
that information anyway, so
Right. Okay.
that's, okay, great.
Everyone was-
We went over item number 3, so that will bring us to item number 4, which is 148 Fleet Street. I do have some additional information for that particular project, so I will just pull that up on my screen quickly.
That's good.
All right, so the applicant has provided a rendering of where the vents would go, and this is on the Von Mall Street side. And additionally, this is the Fleet Street side, and there would be 6 total vents on the Fleet Street side and 4 on the Von Mall side. The applicant has also provided 2 different options. These are gas fireplace vents, by the way. There's this one sort of squared projection option. There's also a slightly more flush-mounted rounded option that they can go with for these vents.
That one says hot.
Does anyone have preferences for
They are
square
copper.
or curved? Copper is lovely.
What, copper? Are we
Copper.
questioning the copper?
No.
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 Just
both.
if there's just two options.
styles.
If there's
Yeah.
one style that is maybe more appropriate than the other.
If that one's flatter, I think it's probably better, but the one that says hot,
They both say hot.
They do
Oh, they
both.
do? Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Yes. Yep.
darn,
I would say the smaller the better.
yeah.
Yep.
But could I ask about this picture that they've shown us?
It was bait.
What?
It's just bait, right? It's a cast iron thing that they found in the basement somewhere.
Oh,
And apparently that had been installed on the building at some point in its life.
it looks installed.
Then it was taken out and either bricked over or what have you. I'm not sure why they felt the need to include what used to be there and is not there now, but they did include that as part of the application.
You over here?
18 cents.
I guess just the question is, are they serving like a forced air exhaust unit?
From what I understand, it's for gas fireplace
Yeah, okay,
units.
yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm not sure, are they offering the cast iron? Because I'm not sure that would be incredibly tough pull off.
No. They had included it as what used to be there in similar locations. I'm not sure what the exact
No, they're
purpose was,
only-
but
You're only proposing the two different copper.
Understood. Yep, the small, like you said, the smaller the better.
Yeah,
Okay.
the smaller
This,
the better, I think.
this seems like such a wrong thing, to fill the building with more holes, to accommodate a random grouping of things that have no relationship to the building or our community at all. I mean, these are about as charming as dryer vents. And I think it's, I guess I was also a little bit knocked back by the cast iron vent from 1879 as having any pertinence to the conversation. But I don't think that they're in any architectural, that there's any relationship between the placement of these things and the architecture. I think that there's no tradition of venting gas fireplaces through the walls of buildings. I don't see how it fits into our historic district and the nature of this historic building at all. To me, it's just, I don't even know the number of them, but 18 more holes in the building. Anyway, bothered by it.
Do you know the dimensions of the cast iron one? Or the one? Can you tell by bricks?
That's an interesting thought, I'm sure.
It's a lot
1,
bigger.
2, 3, 4, 5. So it's
much larger.
42 inches long and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, at least 14 inches tall.
But we don't have any evidence that these were placed, 6 or 7 of them were placed in this building before.
I'd like to think that I'd have seen them sometimes in the 30-some-odd years that I've been on the commission.
It claims that they were on the third floor somewhere, but have been bricked in. So,
it just says on the 3rd floor between most of the windows.
right. Okay,
That's it.
so that one's,
I mean, I have no problems with these. If we're, having a big discussion of them, now we're going to have to pull them out.
I think it's
They're copper?
They're copper vents, and we see less than copper vents going on buildings all the time, so. They're fairly small. All right, move on.
Okay. So I guess from what I had heard is that if we do have a stipulation, it would be the vent that is, of course, either smaller or protrudes less from the
Yeah.
building itself
The
to
second one
minimize,
seems to do
which I believe would be the rounded option.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Our last administrative approval item for this evening will be 172 Northwest Street. The applicant here has received approval from the commission years prior for window replacements on the property. And so they are simply asking to replace the remaining windows on the property with what's been already approved.
This is our
Which are?
alternate,
Yeah, we don't have.
Sorry,
Mr. Booz, so if anybody has questions, he can come up and ask, but he did say in here that they are the Anderson 400s.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, how many?
you want to come and answer?
Where is this
Come on up.
application? Have you found it?
Number 5, I can sing a song first.
I did pass it.
Good evening. Larry Booz, I'm the homeowner, 172 Northwest Street, my wife and I. You said about the number of the windows, there's 23 all total. They're split into different groups. It's not in the packet, in the published material, but it's in what I had given Isaac. There's,
We've got it right up here for you.
right, there's a group here on the back side of the house You can see the characteristic ones. There's actually 8 there. You can only see 6 in the top photo. And then in the bottom 2 photos, those are on reverse sides of the dining room bump out that a condo guy added in the mid-'80s. But in the 29 years I've lived there, they've never gone up and down. So they are literally like rotted in position. I actually tried to move 2 of them. I now have 2 broken pieces of glass. But what I've been told is, I believe those 8 in the 2 bump outs are pre-1917, because while I was redoing flooring on the inside and lifted up hardwood maple, there was 2 newspapers inside dated January 17th, 1917, underneath the flooring. And so I believe those are the older of the windows. The other ones, I've been told, are most likely 1940s, post-World War II vintage. And everything is single pane, 2/2 in the other windows. And the other pertinent part of it is, I tried to get some representative photos, but there's a lot of wood rot at the bottom. A couple of places the windows are actually held in place with nails because things are now falling apart. And the reason it has to be a replacement window is when you go back up to the earlier photos, the house was very badly wrapped in mustard yellow aluminum siding by a condo developer. And in so doing, he hacked off the windowsills and the frames. So, and then he ran the aluminum right up to the window edge line with a little trim strip. So I spent untold thousands of dollars rebuilding the window sills, keeping them at the same 14-degree slope, and then the window frames, and then the molding. So all of that is restored to its historic proportions. And then on the inside, I kind of blessed with the original woodwork, and that I've stripped. So all of the paint has been removed to that. It's been restored to as close as I can to its original conditions. So
And the front of the house already has the Anderson 400s, the
right,
same.
everything is Anderson 400 Woodwright.
Woodwright.
So I tried to pick what I thought was like one of the 2 best windows.
Yeah.
And that was the reason I did that. And then this would be consistent with all of that. So efficiency, I would have huge improvements of energy. On any given day, I will have like a 3-degree difference between the front and the back side of the house. And it's not zoned heating, it's one heating system. And then the other thing is, of course, it would keep everything more historically correct as well, based on what I've done. But that's why I can't do new construction windows, because I've already done historical restoration, and that would undo all of that. So,
Seems pretty cut and dry to me.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Is
Thank you,
the
guys.
applicant willing to do half screens?
Are you willing to do half screens?
if you want half screens, I can do half screens.
That's nice.
All right, great.
All right, I will just kind of quickly summarize our the last 4 admin approvals. So item number 1, 98 Court Street, Unit 2.
Great spot.
We have sort of agreed as presented, no stipulations. Item number 2, 175 State Street. It was talked about that we would postpone that application to the November 6th meeting and request more information from the applicants. Item number 4, 148 Fleet Street. We moved forward with the stipulation that the smaller vent, the rounded option number 2, would be the more appropriate option. And lastly, item number 5, 172 Northwest Street. We've talked about just stipulating that there are half screens installed.
All right, great. I want to, let's vote on the postponement of 175 State Street first. So can I get a motion to postpone it to November?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. All right, can I get a motion for number 1, 4, and 5 with the stipulations that Isaac just read out?
So moved.
Any seconds?
Second.
Yep.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye. Okay. Thank you all. Great. All right, so we're past the administrative approvals. We have two certificate of approval extension requests, which these don't necessarily, this is not necessarily a public hearing. We're just going to talk about it and say whether or not we approve the extension. The first one is the petition of Stone Creek Realty LLC, owner, for property located at 53 Green Street, wherein permission is requested for a one-year extension of the certificate of approval originally granted on July 14th, 2021, to allow the demolition of the existing structure and the new construction of a 3 to 5 story mixed-use building, as per plans on file in the Planning Department. Said property is shown on Assessor Map 19 as Lot 2 and lies within the Character District 5 and Historic Districts. So, this is our third extension?
But,
For this, so for these two properties, actually, we had initially approved, they were actually, excuse me, what am I trying to say? The approvals were stayed throughout the court process. They've just now have come out of that.
Okay.
So these are actually both technically the first time that
Okay.
we've had to
Okay,
extend
great.
them.
Okay, great.
Just because our original approval was stayed for that court period.
Okay, great.
So,
Any comments or questions on this one?
no, I just think that it is important to understand the fact that as soon as these were approved, they were pretty much tossed into court and had gone to Superior Court. Years went by, here we are.
Or again, the plan hasn't changed, so,
if there are, any changes, once we can get to the construction phase based on material availability or what have you, I'm sure, they will come back for administrative approvals if necessary.
okay. Can I get a motion to approve the extension for a year?
I will make that motion to approve.
Nope, I was going to say.
Okay.
Second.
All right, any discussion about these? John already said, had some discussion anymore?
I think it's a significant project, and we put a lot of work into it with the application, with the applicant, and I think it's a good project, and I think it's worthy of the original decision we made on it.
Great. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye. Opposed.
Chair votes aye. All right, so that one goes through. Number 2 is the petition of 1 Rains Avenue LLC, 31 Rains Avenue, or Rains LLC, and 203 Maplewood Avenue LLC, owners for properties located at 1 Rains Avenue, 31 Rains Avenue, and 203 Maplewood Avenue, wherein permission is requested for a one-year extension of the certificate of approval originally granted on January 4th, 2023, to allow the construction of a 5-story mixed-use building and a 5-story hotel as per plans on file in the Planning Department. Said properties are shown on Assessor Map 123, Lot 14, Map 123, Lot 13, and Map 123, Lot 12, and lie within the Character District 4 and Historic Districts. All right, same situation. Obviously, this is just a year and a half after the original approval.
Yes, and just to make sure that the HGC approval doesn't lapse before they get their building permit, just wanted to get that one-year extension in for that one, so.
Any other discussion about this one?
I mean, I think that this one was brought to court because of a decision by the Planning Department, I believe, on this, as far as the, the buffer, that sort of thing.
Okay.
But it's gone through court.
Yes. Okay.
Like the previous application, I feel the same. We've worked hard, and the applicant worked hard, and so
Do you,
making
may I
a
have a
motion.
motion, please?
I'd be happy to make a motion to extend.
Second.
Great. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Yes, opposed. Just to clarify, I'm voting against because I voted against these projects originally. It's not the extension I'm really voting against.
All right. Moving on to public hearings. First one for old business, we have public hearing A, petition of Lucille A. Capone Revocable Trust, care of Patrick K. Capone, owners, for property located at 18 Ladd Street, wherein permission is requested to allow exterior renovations to an existing structure, window replacements, as per plans on file in the planning department. Said property is shown on Assessor Map 117 as Lot 25 and lies within the Character District 4 and Historic Districts. All right. I don't see our applicants from last, oh, you are here. Okay, great. Can you come up and just present? Now we have actual specifications for the product.
Yes, we do. Hello, my name's Lincoln with Highbury Builders. We were here last meeting, and we were proposing Matthew Brothers windows. After a long discussion with the homeowner, we've decided to move towards Marvin Elevates instead. We are going with a bronze exterior, pine interior, 2/2, half screens. We have 13 going in the upper second and third story of the building. The first story has replacement windows already, if you remember from last meeting. That material, those existing window frames are wrapped in a sheet stock metal material, which we would like to match. Last time when we were at the meeting, we didn't have a sample. I brought one today if anybody wants to test its quality. And that's what we would like to propose.
Great. Thank you for bringing all the additional information. Are there any questions?
No.
Right. It's looking good. Anyone from the public wishing to speak to this application? Seeing no one rise, I'll close the public hearing and wait for a motion.
Excuse me.
Oh, sorry.
All it really says is exterior screen, aluminum screen, doesn't say.
He did say half screen in his
Oh, I'm
presentation,
sorry.
so
Okay.
we will make sure that's.
The lumberyard doesn't specify full versus half screen, but they are half screens that are on order.
Great,
All right.
thank you. Okay, we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
Second?
All right, findings of fact?
I'm just glad they chose a much better window than earlier proposed, but it preserves the integrity of the district, and it's consistent with the special and defining character of the surrounding properties.
Great, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, chair votes aye. Thank you,
Thank you.
appreciate it. All right. Moving to public hearings, new business. Number 1, petition of Deborah S. Anthony Revocable Trust, owner, for property located at 93 State Street, wherein permission is requested to allow new construction to an existing structure, construct new rear addition, and renovations to the existing structure as per plans on file in the planning department. Said property is shown on Assessor Map 105 as Lot 20 and lies within the Character District 4 and Historic Districts. All right, who is here to present this?
I brought a laser pointer. So my name is Christina Johnson, and I'm from TMS Architects, presenting on behalf of the client. I made a list of the things that we had kind of updated since we submitted the set based on the recommendations of the working session.
Okay, great.
That are not reflected in the drawing set.
Okay.
There was some confusion about the chimneys, whether they're getting rebuilt or reclad in like the brick veneer.
Yeah.
If you could go to the plan. I think I left.
Ms. Chair, could you ask the applicant to bend her microphone down a little bit?
Sorry, I'm really short.
Some of us
Thank
have
you.
been listening to skill saws for a bit too long, I'm
Yes.
afraid.
I think I left it on, so it's dead. So the chimney at the top of the page where the kitchen is, that one, we had asked whether it needed to be, whether it could be taken down, but we're going to rebuild it with the brick veneer at the top to simulate what's there now. And then the chimney on the left side, that one is the one that's unsafe right now, so they're going to bring it down to the roof and keep the flues running through for the chimney, for the fireplace in the living room. And then this will get rebuilt to look where it is now. And then the same thing on the chimney on the dining room side. That will also get rebuilt. We hadn't noted it here, but all three of them need to be redone.
So only the one in the kitchen is going to be a veneer brick chimney above.
All three of them.
All three of them.
All three of them. Okay.
Though the living room one is just getting like repointed. The other two are just the rebuilt brick veneer.
Okay, so the living room one is going to still remain
Yes.
actual bricks?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. And then we had discussed the brick wall at the courtyard side and whether we were kind of removing it or not. And we had decided that it would be fine. We had discussed that it would be fine to replace it with the brick veneer on the outside. And then as part of plan changes on the interior that have happened, the placement of the master bedroom had shifted, so we need to move one of the like egress windows to a different location. If you go to like the
Page are we?
plan,
It's the second overall page of the plan set.
I think it's down.
Now we're looking at elevations, so we're looking for an elevation.
Is that it? No?
Yeah, so on the second floor, in the upper left, that window is now in the master closet. So we will change the location of that egress window to further down on Chapel Street.
Sorry, I'm not sure which one you're talking about.
Don't touch it.
Don't touch the screen.
Don't touch it. Yeah, that's okay. You can point at it. But
Yeah.
So you're saying that the type of window change moved, but the location, the opening did not move.
The window that will need to be the egress window changed location because the rooms moved around.
Okay.
But the opening did not move.
The opening did not move. No, 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 no. No. And then on State Street, we have relocated that laundry to in the middle of the second floor, so we no longer need the vent on State Street. And then there was a suggestion to get further information about the tree that was on State Street that had the brick patio around it. And we have a letter from the arborist giving, direction on what we should do for that. I had emailed it to Isaac.
Can you summarize it?
Sure. It says, after my assessment, I concluded that raising the grade by 6 to 8 inches using permeable subsoil and brick over a portion of the tree's root system should not adversely affect its health. However, I must emphasize the importance of caution during the removal of the existing patio. Care should be taken to avoid damaging any roots, as this could significantly impact the tree's health.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Any other changes since
No.
the last presentation? All right. Does anybody have any questions?
On your drawing on the two transom, arched transom lights over the door on Chapel and the door on State Street, on the plans that you're calling for them to be replaced. And my question is there a particular reason why?
Were you replacing those? Were you replacing them?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we're replacing them at the same time as the door, so those can all be kind of in plane together from the outside of the building.
So you have no reason other than just because you can?
I think
How about this? They seem to be original elements to the door and doorways. I assume that makes them original elements to the building, I think. Some of the glass in the transom lights exhibit bubbles in them, which pretty much on the front facade of someone's brick house downtown wouldn't have happened even in the latter part of the 1800s. So I'm skeptical what level of preservation we are committing here by just replacing something because I don't know, because it's got paint on it already.
Yeah.
That seems wrong. But anyway, it's your decision to make.
Yeah, I think because the frame of the window is integral to the door, I think if you replace the door
No,
and the frame,
no, that's not a good thought. Anyway, thank you very much.
Right. Ms. Chair?
Yes.
God, I have to totally 100% agree with David on this.
Oh, no, not again.
Yes, I know it. This is going to ruin your night. We have had a lot of trouble in the past with people replacing these rounded windows. And who am I speaking to now?
Let them discuss for a moment.
Hey. I'm listening.
would it be possible for us to reclaim the glass that's there now and reuse it in the new windows? No.
I don't think that works. I think that the whole framework of the window is over 200 years old, and the glass. If there's an energy problem with that window, then you can have a rounded storm window made, to put over it. And yes, if it's integrated with the door frame, I pretty much think that means that you have to use that door frame.
The door frame itself is damaged from the inside.
You're going to have to fix that then. You just, at this location, you just can't cut a 220-year-old door frame out, toss it away, and plug in a new door frame with a door in it.
Okay.
I don't see it. That's me. I don't see it.
I did want to question, I agree, the reason for replacing what is a beautiful old wood door, because it's one of the character defining features of this house, and we're replacing so much of this house. And once again, I'll just say that it's not really a historic house anymore, but if you could preserve any actual historic materials or features, especially things like a front door, that would really go a long way towards preserving this very important house.
We can ask the client if that's something that they would consider.
You're asking us,
They're on the phone,
but you're asking us.
of course.
Any other questions? Or
They're asking about preserving the door and the transom window above it. I'll put you on speaker. Hold on.
We could certainly approve everything else. I think
Yeah.
they're doing pretty good. And then have them bring back
Go ahead, Mike.
how much of the old door is
Both the Chapel
good
Street
and
and
how much,
the
well, it could
State
just be
Street door.
repaired.
And what do they want to do? They want to just to preserve the two doors?
To keep it and have it repaired.
The door or the...
The door
or the two,
and the
wherever.
frame and the transom.
Well, I don't know what to say with that. I thought Randy thought that those doors weren't recoverable. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean they'll never, be totally perfect, but they can be, refurbished and retained. If that's what the HTC is asking
that's the
for.
great thing about wood, is that it's
Yeah,
easily
wood can be
repairable.
repaired.
Yes.
So we were able to do this on Daniel Street and replace the whole unit with the half round window. And we did it in a way that you really can't tell the difference. And originally the doors were not natural, now they're natural. And that's what we're looking to do here. We're looking to preserve that same look with the arch in a newer frame that will hold up. So these frames are in tough shape because of the years. And the black door that's on Chapel Street on the inside is suffering a lot of damage that we can't repair. So we will need to replace that door if we don't replace the jamb.
Yes, John.
Could I suggest that we pull these two doors out of their application?
Yeah.
And that somebody go over and look at these doors and assess whether these doors are savable?
I mean, yes, I think so. And in my opinion, the front door on State Street is the bigger, the grander, the more, important
Yeah.
door. But I think that it would be worth having a few of our commissioners go and just see for ourselves so that we can, because, these are incredibly important parts of the house, so,
Okay.
thank you.
Yeah, I would, I'm not sure if anybody remembers this or if anybody was on the commission at the time, but over on Bow Street, we had a lot of trouble with a rounded transom window over, with people bringing in a thermal pane window with the plastic grill on it and putting it in the wrong location. They actually put it out front instead of sitting back, and it was terrible. It was so bad that they didn't get their occupancy permit, and they had to change it. We had to,
Yeah.
So
Not
I
that you
just
guys
want to
would do
remind.
that.
Yeah, I mean, the intent would be to match it as closely as possible, but if it would be possible to use the glass in those doors, I think that would be like a good way to keep some of the old parts and vary it with something new.
So we do need to have, Isaac has to, make an appointment with somebody so that we could open the doors.
Yeah, we'll do that. Any other parts of the application? This is a big application. Anybody want to talk about anything else? Any other questions? I do want to just point out the faux chimney, or the new chimney rebuilds. Just last week, we saw a request to take off or at least rebuild faux chimneys, basically kind of right down the street, right across the street, next door, actually, I'm thinking.
Okay.
With the, what is the address? It's the big building that the Raleigh Bar was in.
67 State Street.
67th State Street. So the neighbor of the brand-new building. And, not even, maybe about 10 years old, this building is, and those faux chimneys are falling apart. They're making water go inside.
Definitely,
so-
there's definitely bad ways to do it,
Yeah.
that they do fall apart.
Yeah.
We would
So
not do that.
We would not want to see that
Yes.
on this building.
Yes, no, they would be built well.
Anybody else? Any other questions?
I would just add, now that I agree with the concern about the front doors, I would just simply say that the addition, I think, is very well done. It's, the massing is, and the scale is correct, and I think there's a lot of good things that are being done in a very good way with a high standard throughout. But I have to agree that treatment of that front door, the front door is like the face of a house. It really, you should really focus on restoration over replication.
Thank you.
All right. Any other issues, questions, concerns? All right, we'll open it up to the public. Is there anyone in the public who wishes to speak to this application? Going once, going twice. All right, nobody online? All right. We'll close the public hearing and wait for a motion.
I would make the motion that we approve this project as presented, with the exception of pulling the two doors out, the one on State Street and the one on Court Street, with their
Chapel Street.
associated
Chapel.
trim.
Chapel.
Street. Thank you very much.
Okay,
Second.
All right, can you give us some findings of fact?
I can eventually. Certainly, it preserves the integrity of the district, conservation and enhancement of property values. The addition and such is consistent with the special and defining character of surrounding properties.
All right.
Before we vote, I know that we don't have any purview over the interior. However, I understand that this is an old interior, and if there's any way trying to live into sustainability, if you could pull items and put them in to these wonderful places where other people can then buy them, architectural features and moldings and stuff, that would be a great readaptive reuse of the materials.
Thank you, and I certainly, even though we're picking apart things now, generally, that the work sessions, everybody's been very positive about this, about the addition in general, so thank you for your attention to detail on that one. Anybody else have anything? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, chair votes aye.
All right,
All right,
thank
Thank
you.
you. All right. Last one is number 3, the petition of J. Ganesh LLC, owner for property located at 201 Islington Street, wherein permission is requested to allow exterior renovations to an existing structure, installation of new siding to cover the existing brick, remove and replace fencing, and associated site improvements, as per plans on file in the Planning Department. Said property is shown on Assessor Map 138 as Lot 33 and lies within the Character District 4L2 and Historic Districts. All right, who is here to present this? This is who we have online. Okay.
Great.
Hi, I am the owner of the location. Good evening, everyone.
Hi, yes, we can hear you.
Why aren't you here?
So can you please present or tell us what you plan to do to your Mobile Mart building?
Yes, so we are planning for a few improvements at our site. The very first thing that we want to do is put the siding on the exterior wall, which is the siding is basically the aluminum composite material, whose size would be 46 by 46 to cover the existing wall exterior out there. The next is, the fill up the potholes in the parking lot and, repaint the stripes in the parking area and some of the sidings on the walkway and all those things. So, and the third one is basically on near the dumpster, there is a fencing, and we would like to put the new fencing over there because the existing one is broken and it's a wooden one. And over the years, it has been rotten, the woods have been rotten. So we would like to put the new fencing over there.
Okay, do you?
The fourth one, yeah, I'm sorry.
I was going to say, do you have, what we don't have any information about what kind of new fence you would like to install?
It could be just the very wooden one or the plastic one over there near the dumpster.
Okay.
6 foot high. What is it?
It's a combination of a wood chain link.
Okay, great.
6 feet high, just
Yes.
I'm sorry, I don't feel this is a complete application. We don't have information on the materials, either for the siding or the fence, other than what's been given to us verbally. And I don't see how this proposed change reflects the character of the district. So I would be hesitant to go very far with what we have on hand.
I would agree, and in the pictures, it looks like the band is now going to be so much wider,
Oh, yeah.
and I don't know what it's doing to the windows, and, so I think we need a little more detail.
Gauging from the existing building and gauging it to the size of the transom over the doors, transom being the theme for the evening, it looks like they're about doubling the size of the banner. And I don't know what happens to the rest of the roof or how the roof works anymore. I think that we should move this to another time and open it as a work session with the applicant.
Okay.
I remember when we put the brick exterior on this building, that it took a couple of meetings to get to that point, and I've got all night, you know. We'll do it again.
Yeah. Okay, great. So would you be willing to come back next month with a little bit more information on the material of the panels, and the fence? We don't need to worry about your pavement or parking. But we can kind of talk a little bit further about this new design.
Sure, ma'am.
Okay.
And even I can provide the more details around the siding if you would like.
Sure. Yes.
Yes, that would be great. And I'm
Yeah,
happy to
so
reach out, and I can
yeah.
reiterate kind of, sort of what the commission will be looking for.
Thank you, Isaac.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I think they should really, I mean, we have enough to comment that they should not come back next time with this rendering, because it's the wrong direction completely. And that, I don't want to waste their time. This is so foreign to anything that I would consider historic for Islington, even Islington Street, even a gas station. A good example might be the Dunkin' Donuts project we did recently, where there was a corporate entity that wanted to simply come in and put their logo and their colors and their panels and their products on the building. And again, they need to be more sensitive about where they're at and what's being done to this front facade. So the applicant should know that coming back in.
Yes, John.
Very good, I agree.
I agree. When I was looking at it, my first thought is why? I can see the modernization of Mobile Mart, okay, and that's probably a corporate thing. And that gray band, although it is twice as wide, and it certainly is very modern, but I could almost accept. But the siding, I mean, if the bricks there's nothing wrong with these bricks, and they are certainly more appropriate in our historic district than white metal panels, or especially at ground level. So unfortunately, I could not support this as it is.
So I think, Mr. Ganesh, that we are, you're hearing that we would prefer to see the brick remain.
Sure.
And we're happy to talk with you about any other direction if you feel like you need to modernize the building or update it or freshen it up. But we still have to look at it within the neighboring buildings and the more historic materials that are around. So Isaac will be in touch with you to figure out the next steps for next month's meeting.
I will make a motion to postpone until the next meeting.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Thank you. All right, so is that?
Every second.
Well, you're the direct abutter. If you have comments about it, I would say, can you email Isaac, and we'll have that information for the next meeting when we'll take a look at the fence and.
The retaining wall that fence is around.
Sure, madam.
Is starting to fail.
Okay.
And the fence is really held up with, which I've done myself, zip ties and things like that, because it's falling.
Okay.
And it's a chain link fence currently.
Okay.
It's a big mess.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, let's, if you either join us for next month, I'm sure you want to sit through another whole meeting, or you can, great. Or you
Write a
can
letter.
go ahead, you can give us your information, your opinions, write a letter to, or email to Isaac, and that will be distributed. We'll get that.
And where do I find Isaac's email?
That right on the planning department website, it'll list all of our staff contact info. I should be on that list for you, okay?
Isaac's the name?
Isaac Gilbo, yes, you got it.
All right, thank you.
Thank
And they'll
you.
be
you.
coming back with
Yeah.
a lot more information on the fence too. We have those
Yeah.
questions
I mean, the
too.
building's in pretty rough shape, so I'm not opposed to making improvements. Just a lot of things about the back of the building
Yeah.
are more in my
Well,
purview than
I figured,
front.
yeah,
Okey-doke.
we figured that the fence would definitely call to the attention, something with the abutter, so, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Thanks for being patient.
Before we adjourn, I wanted to just quickly bring up and see if anybody has had a chance to look through the guidelines, the additional chapter that we'd like to do for the guidelines, and any other updates. Has anybody taken a look and have any ideas?
So, go ahead, Dan.
Okay, no. Hey, before you went.
So I read through what was done for the city of Bethlehem, and I thought that it covered a lot of the issues and the points that had been raised in the many discussions that we had around solar panels and other sustainability within the district. So I think this is a really good starting point, and we can just use that, edit and adapt it for our own specific conditions and situations. So those are my thoughts on
Yeah.
that.
I thought, yes, I think it's a great chapter. Anybody, any other thoughts? Yes? No?
No,
Anybody have a chance to read through it?
no.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I was misled.
You were not there. You were not there last week. so I
Right.
didn't-
Okay.
But,
I assumed that something would come, but
yeah, I did send through Isaac information with a link
This was, I
to.
think, last week.
Yes.
But
before
it
last
was
week.
to another, it wasn't
It wasn't
to
to
our.
Bethlehem. It was.
Right, it was to some other examples and some
Right.
things to kind of
It's
just
to a
look
different
at
example.
and
Right.
to,
Up to do that.
Yeah, okay.
and then,
I'm just a little cautious. I'm a little afraid of ripping the Band-Aid off the wound right now. Hoping that,
Philly,
that we can do this
almost a boat.
I-
sensitively and quickly.
I agree. And I think that some of the examples that are out there already will cover some of the things that we're still struggling with, that and we'll just set it out there so that we can hopefully not struggle with it any further and have it set and written for applicants. They'll know exactly what to expect, and we'll have better guidance so that when they come before us, they are not caught unawares.
Okay, yep.
And somewhere out there is still the work we did with city council and the board of
It's in
adjustments
an
or
ordinance,
something
I
like that,
Yeah.
yeah. So we'll have, our president will have the recommendations that
Yep.
city council made, and then we can look at Bethlehem Steel.
Bethlehem, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, that's what Bethlehem Steel was, so they took away all the steel things and turned it into casinos.
That's not what's happening to Portsmouth, thankfully.
You wanted us to look at other
Yes.
things as well, so I didn't have a chance to go through everything, but there were a couple of things that I felt have come up over the 2 years or 3 years, well, last couple of years, that maybe could be improved a little bit in the guidelines. For example, in this fine print, it does talk about what in-kind means. It talks about materials and dimensions and stuff, but we've had a lot of situations where people have not understood or not adhered to what the guidelines are for in-kind. So if there's a way that we could pull that out, call it out better than where it is, I thought
Highlight
that
it.
that would be useful. There's no explanation about the repercussions if you don't adhere to what has been laid out in an approval. And I think that warning could perhaps help to prevent people from being a little bit loose with what's going on. And then one thing we don't talk about is the effect, the potential negative effect of using modern materials. We talk about it again here. We talk about the issue of what PVC does and doesn't do, and when you use it in trim, how that can have a negative effect. We don't talk much about, successful versus unsuccessful materials. And if we could, and I know that unfortunately that can get dated because materials will change over time, but PVC and AZAC have been around for a while now, and we've never gotten them in, so we might as well get them in at some point. And then some things, have worked really well for certain applications. Trex works really well for a deck and encouraging people to use that where it's appropriate. I just think we can get some things in that will allow contractors who are working within the historic district also to be able to choose their materials a little more wisely and without having as much conversation with us because they've had a chance to look at it. So those were my only thoughts regarding the existing guidelines so far.
Thank you. Those are good
I think
points.
they're very good. What's our feelings on cementous?
Cementitious, yeah.
All those things, yeah.
Yeah.
And once, we'll be working with the planning department to speak with the same consultant who wrote these, and she wrote the chapter, the sustainability chapter for Bethlehem. And where was, I can't remember where the other one was that I had sent out.
And of course, it's,
I know.
train has left the station on that as well.
But I can send these out again, just to refresh everybody's memories. Larry, if you have anything to add, please come, you can sit up here and chat. Okay.
We missed you.
So, yes, so, next month, we will bring an update in terms of the timeline of this, and so and certainly, when we do hire the next consultant, she'll come and talk with us, we'll do, she'll do a presentation, we can speak directly to her to say what we're looking for and all that stuff. So, we'll update with the timeline next month.
You guys just love consultants, don't you?
Well, consultants like consultants, it makes
I
sense.
am a consultant, what can I
Either
say?
that or do it yourself.
Right, and we don't have the bandwidth to do it ourselves, so. Okay, any other issues anyone wants to bring up? Okay,
Move to adjourn?
thank you.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.